talk in this video, in this lesson, only about the regular tabs that are available to all the users worldwide. So let's go. Here we go. The most general information that we can find in the By-Wall system about scan person is situated in the lifestyle and analysis tabs. The principle that we apply in the analysis in By-Wall is that we go from general to details. So first we have to look at the general information in which situation the person is right here, right now, and based on that understanding, we will do more detailed analysis. If the person is hyper stressed and exhausted, so the overall state of the person is really bad, there is no need to go into details because the details will not be visible in such a condition. So that's why we always start from general things. The lifestyle tab is the most recent tab. It is the tab that helps you to do all the analysis automatically. So it takes those sectors and systems from the fingers, calculates the norms and values for you, takes into consideration the stress, energy balance, the chakras also, or nervous centers, and based on them, the software gives you the evaluation of 6 spheres of lifestyle, like physical activity, the Dantian. So it's not just activity, because you can be very active, but still you have problems with Dantian, right? With the like lower press area that is controlling the position of your torso and your vertebra, and keeps you straight. So if this area is weak and you have predominantly sitting regime, too much of sitting leads to the problem in this sphere of life. And yeah, even if you run 5 kilometers per day, so yeah, maybe like half an hour a day you are active, but then you sit for 7-8 hours in front of computer, all this physical activity, will be deleted through this excessive sitting. So you have to somehow compensate exactly the problems related to sitting regime, not simply running or making some other exercise. So the exercises that you need to make are specifically related to this area, the lower press, the pelvis. What else? Here we have environment. So this is the influence of the environmental conditions in which you live. So EMFs, radioactivity, etc. And biological noise also, for example, for women during the menstruation, the cycle, this area can go down, for example. The regime of the day. So this sector and this sphere of life is connected with the, if you click on it, you will see that it's the sectors of brain and eyes, taking into consideration. So yeah, even if you didn't sleep well, but then you have taken some energy drink or coffee and you have activated this system and you can continue working, then it will look fine, but it doesn't mean that it's your default state. It's the state under the influence of this caffeine or some energy drinks, right? So the best time to analyze this state of the brain and eyes is maybe in the second half of the day, to see in which condition you finish the day. Then nutrition. It's obviously connected with all the organs associated with nutrition. Psychology, it's directly connected to the stress and chakras and nervous centers alignment. And the hormonal activity is directly connected to the urogenital system. And you can click on any of these spheres to see the pop-up window with the small explanation, the norms included in the software. Please remember that the norms that we have presented are based on the more than 60,000 scans of people worldwide. You can also click the information button and read what it is all about with norms for all 6 spheres. So here, the software makes this assessment for you automatically. So you don't even need to go into each sector to see liver, kidneys, or each specific chakra, or the lower spine zones and the pelvis zone, etc. So the software makes the assessment for you automatically, and you can see which of the spheres are the most problematic. So the lower is the percentage, more problematic is the sphere. Closer to 100% you are, better the condition is. That's simple. So this app and this tab, Lifestyle, is available for everyone. You don't have to have specific education to use this app. and you can understand, okay, so yeah, maybe I sit too much, I need to do something with stretching and blocking this lower back and the pelvis, etc. In every tab in our software, there is a possibility to save picture. So by clicking this button here, you can save the picture from this particular tab that is being opened now, and save it, share it in social networks, and save it, print it, send it as a report to the person. Next, you can go for integral analysis also on the tab called analysis, obviously. Yeah, the main three parameters that Biwell is based on is stress, energy, and balance. So here you can see the values for this specific scan of stress, of the energy, and the organ's disbalance. So the stress is integral parameter in Biwell software. It's not a psychological stress. Some people don't get it right. It's not a psychological stress in Biwell. It's integral, psychological and physiological. So for example, if it's simply too hot for you, and body gets sweaty, it is physiological stress, no emotions included there, involved in the process of this hyper sweating of your fingertips, but the stress will be heightened here. So the stress that you see here is complex, psychological and physiological. Energy is just the overall energy of all 10 fingers. That's simple. Yeah, you see these norms, optimal regions, etc. Organs disbalance is when we compare all 5 fingers on the left hand with all 5 fingers on the right hand in terms of energy, and the software calculates which hand is dominating. And then you can make an assessment, because it's quite known nowadays that the left hand is connected with the right hemisphere of the brain, excitation, acceleration, and right hand is connected with the left hemisphere of the brain, energy saving mode, relaxation, slowing down. So in this case, we see that the left hand has dominance, so it means it's my scan right here, right now, so I'm in slightly excited state, accelerated state. Then next, we see how many organs are in disbalance, so with the left hand dominance and with the right hand dominance, meaning the ones that are in accelerated state now, and with right hand dominance with slowing down. Well, these dominances of the left and right hand are just messages from the organism to you where they want to go. Like, they are now accelerating, they are now slowing down. So 3 organs or sectors now are accelerating, 1 is going down. Here we see how big is this disbalance in the third chart. What is the average disbalance in energy in joules for the left-hand dominated sectors and for the right-hand dominated sectors. Actually, the disbalance charts, these 3 ones, are directly connected to the balance chart. So whenever you do the analysis here of the integral parameters, so stress, energy, and disbalance, the next one you can switch over to is the balance tab and see where are those 4 imbalanced sectors. So 24, 25, 26, and 28. And below you can see the names of these sectors. So 24, nervous system, 25, immune system, 26, spleen, and number 28 is the left eye. So these are the actual imbalanced sectors for this current scan. The columns that are highlighted are the ones that are with more than 20% difference between each other. So for example, in absolute value, if you look at the column number 24 and for example 13, you will see that 13 has higher difference in absolute value, but in percentage, so the disbalance between left and right is less than 20%. That's why it's not highlighted. Of course, the ideal person in ideal situations should have all sectors in the green zone. So as you can see in this scan, several columns for me are in the yellow, hyper activated state. And well, at least one sector here, we can see it's in hypo functioning state now. So the integral parameter and integral analysis stops here. You analyze the overall stress, the overall energy, overall disbalance. So does this person is ready to act more or wants to take rest? So here you can read these messages. General overview of the lifestyle. And if you are not a specialist in psychology, in traditional Chinese medicine, in acupuncture points or meridians, whatsoever, actually the parametric analysis can stop here for you. And by looking at these data in these 2 tabs, of course, by repeating multiple times, there will be a separate lesson about Why do we have to repeat scans multiple times? You can understand where to forward this client to and where to put the most attention of the person. For example, if we look here, it's the physical activity, like excessive sitting, first of all, for this person. So the person needs to take care of the lower back, this lower press sector. Well, you can give your own conclusions and recommendations if you want, or you can just forward the person to a specialist. And the bi-well analysis will stop here for you. Let's go next. So if we go deeper, this is the integral overview of the personal state from the parametric point of view. And we can go to the psychological analysis also. Sometimes when you see high level of stress, you may want to understand if it's a physiological level of stress or it is a psychological level of stress. What is the reason behind that? So you can always jump over to the nervous centers or the chakras, and you can look at the balance of the nervous centers and chakras and understand, okay, if it's all quite good value. So you see here in top left corner the overall alignment of all 7 centers with overall energy everything. Yeah, you can switch from nervous center to chakras here by clicking this button. You can switch from colored view to non-colored view. It's up to you. The balanced view shows you the ideal 100% alignment. While we are living beings, it's almost impossible. The highest that I have ever seen was 98% of the living person. So again, you can always click the information button and read the explanation here. Explanation for the nervous centers is different from the case when you select the chakras view. Of course, the chakral interpretation is more profound and has more interconnections with psychology, with elements, etc. So, in order for me not to just sit and read for you everything that is written on the screen, you can always refer to this information button and read what each chakra or each nervous center is associated with. The main concept here is that the movement, if you switch over to non-colored view, you can see the center is green, then yellow, then red. So these are the deviations from the ideal balanced state. So the further away each center from the nervous center from the balanced state, the more problematic the area is. So how can you understand that person has some problems here? It can be done only by doing multiple scans. Actually, chakras interpretation can't be done based on one scan, and even 2 scans is not enough. The more scans you collect in the chakra program or nervous centers program, the more accurate will be your analytics. Because the psychological sphere is the most flexible and the most deviating sphere in us. So depending on what we are thinking about now, where our thoughts flow, well, the nervous centers may oscillate. But it's not the problem that they oscillate. We are living beings, it's fine that they oscillate. But the thing is that the main idea for you is to see which centers are the most imbalanced and the most unstable in time. So to understand which one are the most imbalanced, you just see which one is the further away from center. And the most unstable, you need to compare multiple scans between each other and see which center or which chakra is most unstable in terms of position. I will show you examples later on. Just let's take a look. The idea behind the chakras interpretation is that by doing multiple scans within several minutes even, or when you are asking a person to get concentrated on some topic, on some problem in life, you can see which of the centers is reacting the most. and you see which center stays in the same spot and which one is oscillating the most, not stable. So in here, you can see that between multiple scans, so there are 9 scans here shown, you can see that almost all centers and chakras are oscillated. They are not standing in one spot. And some people may say, oh no, it means that it doesn't work. The Biowell is not trustworthy, and you can't trust the readings when they're so irreproducible. But the thing is that it's not about Biowell. It's about the person. So if you take another person who may be much more stable, and you open the software, and for example, you take multiple scans again and send to compare. Let's take something random. Scans 5, 4, 6. Okay, and we compare them, and we also go to the chakras. You can see the difference. So balanced person, where all the centers, yeah, they oscillate slightly left to left, right, but they stay balanced in the middle. While in comparison with the previous one, you can see that they're constantly deviating. So with that person, there are lots of topics to discuss. With this person, nothing to discuss in regards of psychological state. This is what you do on the chakras tab. So you look at the centers, which are the most stable, which are the most unstable in time, which are the most deviated from center, and based on you click and read the explanation, or maybe you have your own attitude, your own idea about how to do the interpretation of chakras. It's up to you. I have heard very many systems and approaches to chakras interpretation. You're welcome. The one very, very important tool of interpretations of chakras is that usually we run away from the problems, not towards the problem. So if you see that the chakra is deviated to the extrovert part, the social life here, it means most probably that the problem is on the opposite side, because we are trying to escape from the problem and we run where we have more comfort. And if there is some discomfort at home, we try to spend more time at work. When we are not comfortable at work, we try to stay at home. So this is the way our psychology works. We try to evade the problems. We do not run towards the problems. So that's how you do the interpretation here. If you are a psychologist, you're welcome to apply your own interpretation. And we have multiple lectures on the psychology and how you can do the interpretation. We will share the links to those lectures. Some of them were given during the Science Information Spirit Congress that is happening every first weekend of July every year for almost 30 years in a row now. And you will better understand how to do the interpretation, in which cases, and how to play around with it with exact cases. We will share these links to those YouTube videos in this lesson. Let's go next. There are 2 diagrams in our software called area diagram and energy diagram. Again, you can click the information button and read about it on both tabs. So the area diagram is the oldest program in the GDB world. Actually, it was the first program made in 1995-96. And this is just the comparison of each sector that we have in our database, in our fingers here. And we compare it with the same sector on the cylinder that we are using for calibration. So it's just the comparison of the finger with the cylinder. So if the emission, because the cylinder, calibration cylinder, is the ideal finger, so the green zone here corresponds to the emission that is equal to the emission of the cylinder. While if your emission of your finger in some sector is higher than the emission of the cylinder, then it will go to the yellow zone. If the emission is lower than of the cylinder, it will go to the pink zone. So let's select some case from my database and open. Here you see that overall state of the person, is not ideal, and in terms of area, because the area diagram is only talking about the number of pixels. So it doesn't take into consideration the intensity of the glow. So you can see that almost everywhere, all the sectors are below the green zone, and they go to the hypo function, slightly, right? Something more recent. So here we can see that some sectors go to the yellow zone, some sectors stay in the red zone, in the hypo and hyper. So the area diagram is concentrated on comparison of the area, number of pixels of the cylinder and sector. And it is represented for the left hand and for the right hand. The colored definitions are given here: low, lowered, optimal, increase, high. Same everywhere in the software, no matter which tab you open, the colored ring mode is the same. The HS parameter is simply the average of these curves. That's it. If you want to see the interpretation, so of course the ideal is the center of the green zone. And if you click the information button, you can see the interpretation overall and of the HS parameter in particular. So for example, minus 0.39 is somewhere here. Normal integral area. Optimal adaptation, balanced power inputs, and energy consumption. That's it. Full stop. So also you can compare the left hand with the right hand. It's actually doesn't make a lot of sense because you see this information on the analysis tab here. The organs dismounts. So that's actually the area diagram is quite obsolete program, not so useful nowadays, but it's like our museum of the GDB world. So if you don't see any sense in using it, you can deactivate it in your account settings here, and it will not distract you. If you go to the energy diagram, so you will see same approach, same sectors, but now they are not compared to the cylinder. They are just showing the energy value. So you see here the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10. So these are the same values as you will see on all other tabs. So again, low, lowered, optimal, increased, high. Same explanation and same interpretation. Energy reserve, you can see it here at the bottom with the asterisk. This is an experimental parameter, the energy reserves of the person. If you want to see the interpretation, you click the information button and you will see that this is an experimental parameter, so please use it while keeping this in mind. So there are no norms yet available for this parameter, not enough statistical data collected, and no good correlation studies made. For the rest, it's the same information as everywhere, the energy of each sector on the left and right hand. That's it. There are two buttons here: see optimal energy, of course it's again the middle of the green zone, and show area diagram. Well, this is the magical button that many people stumble upon and they don't understand it. It's quite difficult, yes. You need to have technical education to properly understand it, but I will try to explain this idea. So the show area diagram is about overlaying the graphs without taking into consideration the units. We're just overlaying the curves, forgetting about the units. That's why if you click show area diagram, you can see that everything has, all those norms and all those numbers have disappeared because we are comparing simply pictures. We are not comparing numbers. So simply pictures, we are putting them on top of each other and we are looking at the gap between them. So as long as the zoom effect is the same for all the sectors, so we can calculate the average distance between the graphs, pictures, just in millimeters, right? And we can highlight for you the sectors that are different from the average. So for example, this and this sector are showing the lowered distance between the two curves, while this one is showing heightened. We can see on the left side that there are three sectors highlighted, with the pituitary gland having higher gap between the two curves, and here the upper respiratory system and descending colon are lowered. For example, here immune system is lower than the rest, the average. So of course there are some thresholds given in the software to highlight something for you, but you can see it with your own eyes. No numbers needed here. It's just visual comparison of two graphs. That's it. No numbers included. So actually, what's the difference between the area diagram that is unitless because it's just the ratio between the calibration cylinder and the finger, and the energy, because one graph is unitless and another one is in joules? Well, potentially you can see that the difference between area and energy is intensity. So actually the bigger gap means that the input of intensity is bigger here, while it's lower than average in all 10 fingers here. That's it. So just additional information for you, okay, in terms of the input of intensity, these sectors may be of potential interest for you as a therapist. So the energy diagram and area diagram are quite difficult for patients, for clients to understand. That's why many users are not actually using these diagrams in their practice, because it's hard to explain to a user, end user, to the patient, what it is there.
But they go to the balance chart, because actually the numbers that you see here are absolutely the same here. Simply they are giving not in a circular mode, but in a horizontal tab graph with the columns. Yeah, so here you see only the columns and the sectors and systems that are present on both hands, left and right hand. Again, click the information and you can see the definition of what it is highlighted, what is not highlighted, etc. And there's hints in terms of how to do the interpretation. So what can you do on this tab? You can look at the sectors that are the most imbalanced, write them down for you. If you have done multiple scans for the person, so you can go through them, and we will practice this when we will be talking about the comparison mode. And you can write down those that are the most imbalanced, plus you can write down the one that stands out from the rest. So, for example, the highest ones, it's not taking into consideration if it's in green, yellow, pink zone. It doesn't matter. It's a relative approach. So this one stands out from the rest because the average is somewhere here at 3.7, while this one is 5.7. So it means, yeah, it's acting and functioning much more active than the rest of the organism. So you may pay attention to it. And you can also pay attention to the bars that are the lowest from the rest again. From the average in the organism, and also take write them down for you for further analysis, because always after finishing the parametric analysis you will go to visual analysis to double check the conclusions. So this is what you can do in the balance chart, and then if you go to the organs energy chart, actually it's absolutely the same data as in previous tabs with energy diagram and balance. Simply here you can see the average values for systems. So you see cardiovascular system, endocrine system, musculoskeletal system, etc. You see the average energy and the average balance for the system. You can click on the arrow and it will show you all the sectors that are being taken into consideration in this system. So in fact, in the previous tab, you can also see the actual values here, but they are not written down, but here they are exact. So here 3.74, 83% balance. So you see here 61%, so it's 39% imbalance, quite high. So this is where you get the exact numbers of energy and balance for each specific sector, and also for systems. There is one system called digestive system that you can actually analyze only here, because in the balance chart and energy diagram, it's not fully present. Why? Because, for example, descending, sigmoid, rectum, blind gut, ascending, duodenum, ileum, jejunum, gallbladder, appendix, and abdominal zone, as you can see, they have only one sector on left side or on the right side. It means there is only one value for them, the energy, while there is no balance because there is no value for the opposite side, so it's impossible to calculate the balance. So that's why you see only one square colored, and the second one is blank, because it's only one sector related to this organ or system in the software, in BioWell software. That's it. So this is the place where you can look at the digestive system sectors fully, all of them that are available in our system. So all these tabs, energy diagram, balance, and organs energy, are actually showing you the same data in circular diagram, in bar diagram, and in actual visual context with the actual numbers. Next, the Inyan tab is for those who like the TCM, some experience in this field, who understands the concept of these energy meridians, Yin and Yang, and can add some interpretation and recommendations based on that. If you have no experience in this field, better omit this tab and don't use it. In fact, in our software, for every meridian, even though according to TCM, there's only 6 meridians on hand, in Sujok, all 12 are available, but still, we have only one sector of stomach here, and only one sector devoted to gallbladder. That's why, for example, again, for these 2 meridians, there's only the energy value and no balance value. While for others, you can see how many sectors are involved into calculation of the average area, energy and balance for this specific meridian. Yin of pericardium, yin of kidneys, etc. There is interpretation and description at the bottom, where you can see the correlation of this specific meridian with element, with physical imbalances, emotional, etc. And you can also see, it's interesting, also approach the understanding of the circadian rhythms, there's internal watch, clock installed in our body that each organ and each meridian, they work according to some internal schedule. So for example, for the yin of pericardium, you have maximum functioning time, it's between 7 to 9 p.m. and there is a minimum between 7 and 9 a.m. So when you're scanning a person in the late evening, you should expect maximum from this yin of pericardium meridian, while if you scan the person early morning, you should expect minimum of functional activity of this meridian. So this is just another angle at which you can look at the person, and if you have knowledge and experience in this topic, you're welcome to use it. As you can see, some of the meridians, see, because they're drawn here according to TCM, they are not reaching hands. You see, they're ending in the leg. This is somehow our approach that I talked earlier about our willingness to bridge the different acupuncture point systems, to see that the truth is somewhere in between. So maybe some information is still there and on the hands too. So the TCM is not absolutely right in this aspect. So this is what you can do in the Yin tab. The Biorhythms tab, I have already shown you in the previous lesson that it just shows you the 3 biorhythms: physical, emotional, and intellectual. You select the period, the year that you want to look at, and you can, for example, tell to the person that, yeah, in these days, you should be more active, and when it's minus, you should be more careful. So, for example, here, you see it's 2026. So, for example, we need to see which exactly month it is. It's not January. It's maybe 29th, end of January. So we can, yeah. So this is from 28th to 31st of January 2026. It's the time when this person should be very careful, because all 3 biological rhythms will be at their minimum. Well, how important this aspect is, it's up to you to decide. It's one of the factors that you may take into consideration. Up to you. Then, when you scroll through all these tabs, there are 2 more tabs left: the energy field and the fingers. Actually, they are both used for visual analysis, and the visual analysis is a separate lesson, so I will not spend time here, but still you can look at the visual parameters. You can click on any sector you like and enlarge it into separate screen. Again, there is interpretation button here, share button here, and same on the fingers tab. You can click on any finger and enlarge it. That's it for this lesson. This is the end of the tab by tab analysis. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.